Hey, what is up, everybody? It is time for the conference finals, both out in the East and out in the West. Today we have the Eastern Conference Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. Personally, I don't think this series is going to go very long. I don't think the Heat match up very well with the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics, in my opinion, have the best remaining roster. I just don't think, they're going to isolate Jimmy Butler defensively, go at him, and then, the Miami Heat need somebody else to score. And I don't really think they have a second reliable option. Just going to be kind of a Giannis and the Bucks kind of situation with this Heat team. Not saying that the Heat players are worse than the Bucks players. I just don't think they have a reliable number two. They really don't. So I think the Boston's going to get out of here really quickly. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about Eastern Conference plays today, and let's get that money. Real quick, if you guys are new to Underdog Fantasy, make sure that you there's a link down in the description I have that automatically takes you to the App Store where you can download Underdog Fantasy. Also throws in my TAKEMYSHOT code when you guys sign up for that. So when you make your first deposit, it helps me out big time, as well as it gives you a 100% deposit match up to $100. So if you throw in $20, for example, you'll get actually $40, and they'll give you another $23 just to bet on for funsies, a little risk-free bets for fun. And so that is always nice as well to get those risk-free bets. Also helps me out, like I said, big time if you guys use my code TAKEMYSHOT. Because all my picks every single day are always going to be Underdog Fantasy picks. I think it's the best player prop betting app out there. With that being said, now let's get to today's picks. All right, baby, coming on with the lock of the day. Let's get it. Today's lock of the day is going to be coming from the Miami Heat side of things, and it's going to be an under. We're going to go under with their captain. We're going to go under with their team leader, their team carry. Give me under on Jimmy Butler's 36.5 PRA. Yes, I said under. I'm sure Jimmy Butler eventually in this series is probably going to have a big game. It's not going to be game one. Relatively this season, when you're looking at just the matchups from this season, they kept him in checks really heavy. In the last 5 matchups, he's only had one matchup where he went over in his PRA. Back on May 9th of 2021, he had 26, 8, and 11, so he nearly had a triple-double in that game. But out of those last 5 matchups, he hasn't come close one time, as opposed to that one time where he nearly had a triple-double. I even thought going under on his points, his last 5 matchups, he's only averaging 21 points per game. But I thought it'd be better to go with the points and rebounds, because in recent matchups with the Heat this season, he really struggled as far as rebounding and assisting and playmaking goes. Only 2 boards, 3 assists, 4 boards, 2 assists, 3 boards, 2 assists. Really just wasn't getting the assists going, and wasn't rebounding the glass as well. So we're going to go with Jimmy Butler under 36.5 PRA. I think obviously the Celtics get back Robert Williams today. As far as I know, he's not on a minutes restriction or anything. So he's probably going to be back in the starting lineup as far as I know. Obviously a lot can change by the end of the day. But as far as I know, up to this point, no minutes restriction, and he should be back in the starting lineup. So they're gonna have, Jimmy Butler's gonna be guarded by Tatum. He's gonna be guarded by Smart. He's gonna be guarded by Jaylen Brown. They're gonna be all over him defensively. They're gonna absolutely isolate him. Somebody else for the Miami Heat's gonna have to have a big game, because it's not gonna be Jimmy Butler today. So I like the under 36.5 PRA today for our lock of the day. Next up, we're gonna go under on Al Horford's 10.5 points. Al Horford in the last 5 matchups versus the Miami Heat, he's only averaging 7.6 points per game. And in the playoffs, since his explosion of a 30-point game, hasn't come close to this 10.5 mark. Obviously, he's getting lost a little bit in the offense. When the games get tighter, the games get closer, Al Horford is not going to be the one taking the shots. You understand what I'm saying? And I also went back. Like I said, this could depend a little bit on how Robert Williams comes back and plays. But in 51 games with Robert Williams in the starting lineup with him, he only averaged 9.8 points per game in 51 games this season. So clearly when Robert Williams is on the floor and he's on the floor at the same time, he falls even less into the offensive rotation and as far as scoring points for him. So I like the chances for Al Horford tonight to go under 10.5. In their last 3 matchups this season for Al Horford, he did have 10, 14, and 6. So he did hit it in one of those matchups. But I like the chances for him again here tonight to not hit that line. It's going to be the Jaylen Brown and the Jason Tatum show. So I like the chances for Al Horford to go under 10.5 tonight. And our one and only over of the day is going to be over on Jaylen Brown's 23.5 points. Yeah, I like the chances for Jaylen Brown tonight. I have a feeling PJ Tucker is most likely going to be on Jason Tatum. And I like the chances for them to put maybe, they fluctuate between putting Jason Tatum matching up him with Jimmy Butler and PJ Tucker. I'm assuming they won't bring out PJ Tucker to the wing like that, right? They probably keep him more down low. And the only way I could see Jimmy Butler guarding Brown is if they put PJ Tucker on Tatum and they put Jimmy Butler on Brown. But I don't think they'll put either PJ Tucker or Jimmy Butler all the way out in the wing, right? Because Jaylen Brown's a guard, right? He's not necessarily a wing. So I don't see them putting him all the way out there like that. There's a chance they do. Obviously, they're going to find the best defensive matchups possible for them. In their last 5 matchups, though, Jaylen Brown's averaging 24 a game. So he's averaging over his point total. And their last two matchups here in the 2022 season, he had 29, he had 28. So he obviously had some big-time games versus the Miami Heat in their last couple of matchups. So we're going to ride with that. We're going to continue to ride with that. I like the chances. He's averaging I like the chances he's averaging 24 in the last 5 matchups. 29, 28 had bigger games. I think a lot more defensive attention will be on Jason Tatum. So I like the chances for Jaylen Brown to have the explosion game. So give me Jaylen Brown over 23.5 tonight. Also, before we get into our perfect 3 slip, do remember that there is a special line tonight. We got Tyler Hero over 0.5 points. So plus this 3 slip, if you want to throw in that Tyler Hero 0.5 special line, you will have a perfect 4 slip that will you'll get the automatic hit with you'll get that automatic hit with Tyler Hero over 0.5 points. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our perfect 4 slip, I guess. Give me Jimmy Butler as our lock of the day. Under 36.5 PRA. That Celtic defense is going to eat him up. He should have a horrible game 1. Give me Al Horford under 10.5 points historically. Not put up big numbers, and he hasn't been putting up big numbers lately since his explosion game. And then give me Jaylen Brown over 23.5 points. I think he's going to have the biggest game today between Tatum and Brown. So give us our perfect 3 slip will be our lock of the day. Jimmy Butler over 36.5. Al Horford under 10.5. Jaylen Brown over 23.5 points, and Tyler Hero, our special line of the day, over 0.5 points today. All right, boys, with that being said, that's going to wrap up today's video. Kind of finished out the semifinals on both sides. Kind of rough, right? I'm going to always be the first to admit it, whether I do good or bad. Finished it out rough those last couple of days of the Eastern Conference and Western Conference semifinals. Going to get in tune for these last two rounds of the NBA playoffs. Obviously, we'll be keeping our eye on the NHL as well. There will be a couple of days here where we have no basketball when teams are switching locations and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. There may be a couple of days where maybe there isn't a video, but I'll always try to figure out something. Yesterday I thought was a perfect chance to take the day off. No NBA, no NHL, no USFL yesterday. I'm not a big baseball guy. Never have been. Probably never will be. I just don't find baseball entertaining at all. I think it's really anticlimactic and really just had up until the 9th inning, unless it's a close game, there's really just nothing to watch. So I really don't like watching baseball. I thought about trying to get into it, but really, it's just not my sport. I'm not going to try to force baseball down my throat. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not going to try to get into it. I like to bet on sports I'm passionate about. I understand. Didn't play baseball. I played football. I played basketball. So I understand these games a lot better. So I'm not going to try to get into baseball or anything. But so we'll see what happens with the schedules and stuff, how they overlap with the NHL and stuff like that. Because I do like NHL. I didn't play hockey, but one of my really good friends is a national champion in hockey. So he's kind of really breaking down hockey to me. He understands how to do that. So we'll keep our foot in NHL and we'll get close to these last 2 rounds of the NBA and we'll get into it. And hopefully today we can cash out with our first sweep for the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's get it. Catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.